Hello students, welcome again. Students, in today's lecture, we want to discuss what are the important features, elements or characteristics of literature. Then now let's begin. See, if you want to understand a nation, then you need to understand the citizens living in that country. Yes or no? You need to understand their life, their manners, their costumes, and so on, their political and economic conditions, and overall, you get an idea about that country. In the same manner, if you want to swim into the river, you need to first of all take some basic knowledge about the kind of water, whether it is hot or cold, how deep it is, and then you will start swimming. Yes or no? In the same manner, if you want to study literature, before embarking upon the study of literature, you need to understand what this literature is and what are the important elements, features, or characteristics of this literature. Okay, so that's the reason why a new learner of literature needs to study the features of literature. There are 5 features, as I told you. Number one is reflection of life and society. Someone has nicely defined literature as the reflection of life and society. True literature is a mirror to life, to human nature and human society. Okay, what we see in our real life, the same thing has been represented, reflected in literature by the authors. Okay, so in our life, what do we have? In our life, we have ambitions, we have dreams, we have feelings, emotions. All these things have been realistically presented by the author. The author presents the real social and economic problems of that particular country in which the author is living. Okay, so you see, Christopher Marlowe became the representative dramatist of 16th century Elizabethan age. Why? Because the society in which he was living has been realistically presented by him in all his 4 tragedies. Okay, so all in all, you can say literature is the reflection of life and society. George Bernard Shaw, a 20th century dramatist, has also presented the social problems of his times, of his country, in all his plays. In the same manner, Charles Dickens, who was living during the 19th century, he also presented the problem of child labor in his in his novel Great Expectations. So all in all, good literature is one which gives the realistic picture of the life and society. Number two is imagination. You see, what is literature? Literature is an imaginative creation. It is a creative art. Here, the author no doubt sticks to the realistic life, but at the same time, he presents life in a colored manner. He colors life with the help of his imagination. Okay, so that the life which is presented in literature looks more beautiful. Why? Because the author has used imagination in that. Without imagination, literature can never exist. Okay, so imagination is the most important element of any good literature. Okay, when Aristotle talked about the imitation of life in drama, he said that imagination plays an important role because the dramatist, the writer, the author does not present life as it is. He changes the life and represents it in a more beautiful manner, and this change comes because of the use of imagination. Okay, there are two worlds. One is the real world in which we are living, and the other world is the world of the author, and that world is mixed with imagination, and that's why that world, it looks more beautiful than this real world. The third important feature is emotions. Okay, expression of emotions or feelings, it has very important place in literature. Okay, where there is life there are people, and where there are people there are emotions. Can you imagine your life without emotions? No. Okay, the emotions of pity, fear, happiness, sadness, okay, hatred, love, these are some basic emotions which make our life. Okay, in our existence there are two things. One, we have the faculty of thoughts or thinking, another is the faculty of emotions, feeling, and there must be a proper balance between these two in real life and in real literature also. And that's why literature has to present some fundamental emotions like sorrow, love, hatred, pity, fear, and so many others. Okay, you take any work of art from literature. For example, Shakespeare has written the tragedy King Lear. Here he has presented a father's feeling for his daughters. Okay, so in Daffodils is such a popular poem written by William Wordsworth. In that poem also the poet presents his emotion of loneliness in the beginning of the poem, and at the end he presents the feeling of happiness. So feeling or emotions, they are the fundamental things in literature. Number 4 is moral awareness. Why do we at all write literature, and why do we read literature? Then remember, in Sanskrit it is rightly said, sa vidya ya vimuktaye, means this is the knowledge which makes you free from ignorance. Okay, it enlightens us. True literature must enlighten the people. True literature must convey some moral messages to the society, to the readers. Literature makes us free from the ignorance. Okay, true literature teaches some good moral lessons to the society. When we read literature, knowingly or unknowingly, we learn something about life, how to live life in a better manner. That is done by literature, by true literature. So morally, the author when writes literature, he has to be morally aware about the society. The moral upliftment and welfare of the society is the most important responsibility of the author. Okay, there is the element of moral awareness among all good literatures. For example, if you take this novel Old Man and the Sea, written by Ernest Hemingway, an American writer, here also he has displayed this message that man is not made for defeat. Man can be destroyed but not defeated. Okay, so such good messages are generally displayed by the authors in good literature. Number 5 is universal appeal. Universal appeal means, true literature appeals all and appeals in all times. It has no barrier of time, it has no barrier of place even. Okay, so see, good literature which was written 2000 years ago is read by the readers in today's times also. That shows what? It appeals in all times. Good literature which was written in Australia is read in India also. That shows what? That shows that it has no barrier of geography, no barrier of place. You see the examples of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bible, Quran. These literatures were written thousands of years ago, but people are reading them today also. Why? Because they have universal appeal. Shakespeare wrote the plays and poetry during the 16th century, but we are reading Shakespeare's plays and poems even in today's times. Why? Because it has no barrier of time. It is a universal literature. So, universal literature means it touches your heart and mind, and not only your heart and mind in today's times, even after 2000 years, it will continue to appeal the mind and heart of the readers. Okay, so it appeals all in at all places. That is called the universal appeal. So these are the five important features of good literature or true literature. So let me conclude this discussion by saying that true literature, number one, reflects the life and society. Moreover, number two, true literature uses imagination and makes that life more beautiful. Okay, number three, true literature must present some great philosophical thoughts, some good philosophy of life, and true literature must make the society a better society by displaying some moral messages. And number four, true literature must be universal by nature.